Have you ever sat in your car, the engine idling in the driveway of the home you worked so hard to buy, and felt like a complete stranger to yourself? Have you ever looked at your reflection and wondered, when did I stop driving, and when did my anxiety take the wheel? We are taught how to build empires, how to climb ladders, and how to accumulate likes, but no one ever taught us how to live inside our own heads. What if I told you that the greatest war you will ever fight isn't against your boss, your debt, or your competition? It is a silent, microscopic battle happening right now, behind your eyes. There is a thief in your house. He is stealing your peace, your focus, and your future. And the terrifying part? You've been hand-feeding him every single day. Are you ready to stop being the victim of your own mind? The weight of a shadow. In the rain-slicked streets of Seattle, Julian Vance was a man who defined the standard. At 35, he was a senior partner at a top law firm. He wore the right suits, drove the car everyone stared at, and lived in a penthouse that overlooked the gray beauty of the Pacific Northwest. But Julian was dying, not physically, but spiritually. Every morning he woke up at 4 a.m., not because he wanted to, but because his heart would start pounding against his ribs like a trapped bird. The list would start scrolling in his mind. The missed calls, the potential lawsuits, the fear of losing his status, the nagging feeling that he wasn't enough. He was a master of the external world, yet a prisoner of his internal one. He had hustled his way into a life he was too exhausted to enjoy. One evening, after a particularly grueling case, Julian found himself standing on his balcony. The wind was cold, but he couldn't feel it. He realized he couldn't remember the last time he had felt a genuine moment of joy that wasn't tied to a paycheck or a win. He looked at his hands. They were shaking. "Is this it?" he whispered to the wind. "Is the price of success the loss of my soul?" The sanctuary of the unseen. Julian took a sabbatical, a word that sounded like failure in his circles. He drove east, away from the glass and steel, until the air smelled of damp earth and ancient pine. He checked into a small, secluded retreat run by an elderly man named Thomas, who had spent 40 years studying the intersection of modern psychology and ancient wisdom. The retreat wasn't what Julian expected. There were no power seminars. There were no productivity hacks. On the first day, Thomas handed Julian a small wooden bowl filled with clear water. "Carry this bowl through the forest path," Thomas said. "There is a bench 2 miles away. If you spill a single drop, you must come back and start again." Julian scoffed. "I've managed multi-million-dollar mergers, Thomas. I can carry a bowl of water." He didn't make it 100 yards. His mind started wandering. What if my partners are replaced? Did I leave the oven on? I should check my email. As his mind raced, his hand tilted. Splash! He went back. 5 times. 10 times. By the sunset of the 3rd day, Julian was furious. He slammed the bowl down. "This is a parlor trick. It's impossible to focus that long." Thomas looked at him with eyes that seemed to see right through the expensive veneer of Julian's personality. "The water isn't the problem, Julian. The water is stable. Your mind is a storm. You think you are moving the bowl, but your thoughts are the ones shaking your hand. Until you discipline the mind, you will spill every beautiful thing life gives you." The anatomy of the monkey mind. Over the next few weeks, Julian began to learn the hardest lesson of his life. The mind is a wonderful servant, but a terrible master. Thomas explained that most of us live in a state of reaction. We react to the weather, we react to traffic, we react to a comment on social media. Each reaction is a leak of our vital energy. By the time we actually need to focus on our dreams, we are empty. Discipline, Thomas said as they sat by a small fire, is not about restriction, it is about direction. It is the ability to look at a thought, a fear, a craving, an impulse, and say, "I see you, but you are not in charge today." Julian started to see his mind as a garden. For years, he had let the weeds of not enough and more grow wild. He had focused on the fence, his reputation, and the house, his wealth, but the soil was toxic. He practiced sitting in silence. At first, it was agonizing. It felt like being locked in a room with a screaming toddler. But Thomas taught him, don't fight the toddler, just watch him. Eventually, he will get tired and sit down.
The moment of integration. One afternoon, a massive storm rolled in off the mountains. The wind howled and the trees groaned under the pressure. The power went out in the retreat cabin. In the past, this would have sent Julian into a panic. He would have been worrying about his electronics, his schedule, the lost time. Instead, Julian sat in the darkness. He felt the fear rise up, that old familiar tightness in his chest. He watched it. He didn't label it bad. He didn't try to push it away. He simply breathed into it. I am the mountain, he whispered, a mantra Thomas had given him. The storm is just the weather. The mountain remains. For the first time in his life, the noise stopped. Not because the world became quiet, but because he became still. He realized that discipline wasn't about changing the world, it was about changing the person who perceives the world. He went back to the bowl of water. He walked the 2 miles in the pouring rain, the wind whipping his hair. He didn't look at the trees, he didn't think about the finish line. He became one with the water. When he reached the bench, the bowl was still full to the brim. He didn't feel a surge of ego success. He felt a deep, profound sense of power, the power of a man who owns himself. The Buddhist solution, the path of the awakened mind. Where grind culture often leads to burnout, the solution lies in an ancient Buddhist philosophy adapted for the modern soul. If you want to discipline your mind and change your life, you must follow the 3 pillars of the awakened mind. 1. The concept of monkey mind, Kapi Chitta. Buddha described the human mind as being filled with drunken monkeys, jumping from branch to branch, screeching and demanding attention. The solution: do not try to kill the monkeys. You cannot force your mind to be quiet. That only creates more noise. Instead, give the monkeys a job. Focus your mind on one thing: your breath, your step, the task in front of you. Discipline is the act of gently bringing the monkey back to the branch every time it wanders. 2. Right effort, virya. In Western culture, we think effort means working until you collapse. In Buddhist philosophy, right effort is the discipline to prevent unwholesome states of mind from arising and to encourage wholesome ones. The solution: guard the gates of your senses. If a news feed makes you angry, stop scrolling. If a certain friend makes you feel inferior, distance yourself. Discipline is choosing your environment, so your mind doesn't have to fight unnecessary battles. 3. Mindfulness of impermanence, anicca. Most of our mental suffering comes from clinging to success, clinging to our youth, or clinging to our pain. The solution: realize that every thought, no matter how terrifying, is a guest. It checks in, and if you don't serve it tea and ask it to stay, it will check out. Discipline your mind to observe thoughts without becoming them. You are the sky, the thoughts are just clouds. Your new blueprint. Julian Vance returned to Seattle. He still practices law, but he is no longer a lawyer who happens to have a life. He is a man who has a life and happens to practice law. He doesn't wake up to a racing heart anymore. He wakes up to a choice. The world will always try to tell you who you are. It will try to sell you fear, distraction, and inadequacy. But when you discipline your mind, you reclaim your throne. You stop being a leaf blown by the wind and start being the wind itself. The solution is simple, but not easy. Morning, 10 minutes of silence, no phone, just you and your breath. Day, 1 task at a time, total immersion. Evening, forgive yourself for the spills, and resolve to carry the bowl again tomorrow. Your mind is the only thing you truly own. Is it time you started acting like the owner?